Hmm. Oh, hello, good day folks, and welcome to the Anorak Review Show with I, your host, the Anorak. After 4 weeks within the new year and season of reviewing albums by bands and groups whom I've already reviewed last year, let's end out January by looking at an album from a band that I haven't covered last year. The Chemical Brothers. Similar to Daft Punk, the Chemical Brothers are a duo consisting of Ed Simons and Tom Rowland that helped in innovating electronic house music alongside the likes of The Orb, Orbital, Aphex Twin, Fatboy Slim, The Prodigy, etc., just to name a few, and had their roots dating as far back as 1989. By the early to mid-90s, this duo adopted the name of the Dust Brothers, directly from a group of American producers mostly known for working with the Beastie Boys. However, of course, after a bit of settling with the actual Dust Brothers, the English duo renamed themselves to the Chemical Brothers, after a song they made called Chemical Beats. Although considering another track they made around the time, it seemed just as likely they would have been named the Siren Brothers, which also still kind of has a ring to it, to be honest. Random thing to address, but I know, but still works. And so, across the other half of the 90s, the Christian Chemical Brothers went on to create a few successful albums: Exit Planet Dust, Dig Your Own Hole, and Surrender. And so today, we're tackling one album of theirs, and their first release in the new millennium, the 2000s.
I know, right? The 2000s were the decade, man! We had stuff like GTA, Halo, the spectacular Spider-Man, Transformers Animated, Robot Boy, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, Linkin Park, Fallout Boy, Black Eyed Peas. Need I say more, dude?
No need to, Naughty's boy. You've made your point very clear. But does this album still hold up after 20 years? Well, let's dig into the Chemical Brothers' Come With Us and figure out for ourselves. The album begins with its title track, Come With Us. And boy, let me tell you, I couldn't think of any better way to begin such an album like this. Starting up with some rather dramatic string-like sounds trilling and ascending, as well as some sampled spoken dialogue from an obscure 70s track called The Evidence by, well, Evidence, giving off this epic, almost sci-fi feel to it, especially how the dialogue speaks of leaving Earth and all the universe is at our sides. The repeating of the phrase, "they're coming back," may have been used to signify that the Chembros were indeed coming back with this album, just in time for the next millennium. And then with some crashing drum rolls, we delve into a thick dance beat, like we've been transwarped into some big dance floor on another far-off planet. There's even a little funky bass-like riff, which I like, and just adds to the overall jamming of this excellent yet somewhat underrated big beat track from a group like the Chemical Brothers. Come With Me Now by Congos and Come With Me by Puff Daddy ain't out your hearts. Come With Us by the Chemical freaking Brothers. Now that's where it's at. Next is It Began in Africa, spelt with a K instead of a C, similar to the left field song Africa Shocks. I'd say poor literacy is cool, but I looked up and found out that the K is a correct spelling in certain African cultures and languages, as well as in a few other languages like Dutch, German, and Norwegian. But anyways, this track was actually created as far back as December 2000, under the title of Electronic Battle Weapon 5, which sounds more like the name for an NES accessory. You see, the Electronic Battle Weapons 1 to 11 are a series of tracks made for promotion as well as for DJs to test out in clubs. usually either altered from previous songs or would become songs for official studio albums. And this was one of them. This was made the first single for the Come With Us album, released 4 months in advance on 10th of September 2001, the day before 9/11. Oh. Is it still too soon at this point? But anyways, the song itself begins right off the bat with a compressed voice speaking the title, directly sampled from the track Drum Beat by Jim Ingram. I think that's how it's pronounced. As the last syllable echoes on away and a pumping beat comes into play, along with what sounds like a doorbell ringing. Okay. Then we get to indulge into some sweet sounds of conga drums and even a few stock sound effects of big cats snarling, emphasizing the whole Africa theme. And all in all, it just kind of goes into this thick tribal electro beat track, which I really love. It reminds me a bit of Beast Machines in a way, being both tribal, electronic, and primal. And well, this is just a prime track. It then transitions quite seamlessly into Galaxy Bounce, possibly the shortest track of the album, clocking up to about 3.5 minutes. But even with such a short time compared to the other songs here, this is still pretty fun and catchy. A steady, funky beat with some murky synths and some cut-up bits of vocal scattered across it. The song, or at least an extended version of it, was featured in the soundtrack of the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider film in the previous year, along with various other songs from various electronic artists and groups, so at least whoever brought together that choice of music selection gotta have some good taste. Some may see this particular song here as potential filler, but as is, I like it fine. Sure, it's no Galvanize, but it doesn't need to be. It's short, simple, catchy, and well, as the title itself may convey, bouncy. After the end of that, we then come to Star Guitar. The second single from the album, this track is mostly built around a distorted sample from Starman by David Bowie, hence the very title of course. This song has a bit of a dreamy, neo-disco feel to it, like the musical interpretation of travelling through and in the underground tubes. For most of the track, there's this faint, wet reverb repeating of the lines, "You should feel what I feel, you should take what I take." This likely represents how sometimes, in some way, music brings us all together, or at least it should. Instead of being divided, we should emphasize with one another, feeling what we feel, and enjoy the music for what it is, taking what we take. Or at least that's how I interpret it anyways. And funny enough, according to an interview back in 2012, Fatboy Slim himself said that he was apparently approached to do a remix of this song when it was first produced and released, but upon listening to it, he decided to turn down the offer, believing it couldn't be improved. And listening to the song itself, I can kinda get how he thinks so. This track is both chill and active at the same time, and if you're into that kind of music, I say check out this one and let all the kids and children boogie to it, because I know it's all worthwhile. Following up on that is Hoops, a fitting title since part of the song centers around a looping vocal sample of Round Again by American Sunshine pop group The Association. This is definitely one of the more unique songs of the Chemical Brothers, shifting and swinging between various instrumental sounds and styles. One moment it could sound quite tranquil, with a guitar and drum machine emulating a soft 60s pop tune. Then the next, it turns into a tense, tappy beat with some brief barking sounds at one point. The aforementioned vocal sample itself is edited in a way that almost kind of sounds like the endless skipping of a vinyl record. not unlike some of the various Daft Punk tracks, like High Fidelity and High Life. This song itself was remixed into the 6 Electronic Battle Weapon, and probably the longest of them too, at about 9 minutes, as opposed to the original version being about 6.5 minutes. Then again, with a simple title like Hoops, I kinda feel like getting and eating some hula hoop crisps. Am I the only one who still remembers those? I'm pretty sure they still make and sell those.